The apocalypse descended, monsters rampaged everywhere. Humanity plunged into panic, cities collapsed one by one, screams fading into smoke, fire, and blood. Who would be lucky enough to possess a system that can capture monsters? No need to run, no need to beg. I stand amid the collapsing world, alone, grabbing those nightmares and turning them into pets. The enchanting demon girl, giant in form, with a body like an urban beast, seductive and deadly, bows only before me. Black and white impermanence, two beings once only legends from the underworld, now loyal guards, obeying a mortal like me. If monsters are humanity's fear, then I will become the monster's fear. The story begins. 100 years ago, monsters suddenly appeared on Earth. They were like a bloody flood sweeping through every city, biting, tearing, destroying, devouring lands as if they were theirs by right. Humans loved and despised, only able to huddle inside sealed fortresses, the last remnants of a dying civilization. Fortress number 54. A cold voice echoed everywhere through the loudspeaker system. Warning, citizens must not leave the fortress. Absolutely avoid the 9 strange chasms that just appeared inside. Anyone falling in might encounter the monster nest's core. 9 abyssal pits like dark cracks from hell, origin unknown. Bottomless, lightless, only silent death waiting at the end. In a dormitory corner, a group of male students surrounded a weak female student. You rotten. Kai wants to play, you're lucky, yet you dare to run. Another joined in. Scum like you, studying with us in the academy is only thanks to nobles like Kai being merciful. The young master stepped forward, pressing the girl against the wall, his eyes full of lust. Bitch, you have 2 choices. 1. Obediently let me play until bored. 2. Jump into the abyss yourself. The girl trembled all over, tears welled in her eyes, but her voice tried to stay strong. You perverted bastard. After assaulting a classmate, do you plan to silence me too? I won't help you trick Goddess Lam, and don't even dream of touching me. The young master's eyes turned cold. He smiled as if hearing a cheap joke. You know too much, but Lam Ling will be mine sooner or later. I put her brother in prison. What choice does she have? He leaned closer, his filthy breath on her face. And you, if you obediently let me play a few times, maybe I'll spare you from the abyss. Huh? As he reached out, the girl instinctively stepped back, but behind her was the endless void of the abyss. At that moment, a low growl echoed from the depths like it came from the dead. One guy trembled. What's that sound? Before anyone could react, a pitch-black creature with saw-like teeth shimmering cold light crawled up from the abyss. The air thickened. The stench of blood filled the space. Someone panicked and shouted, "Bone-faced beast, why? Why is a B-rank monster here? Run. B-rank can kill awakened humans in an instant." The young master paled, immediately pushing the girl in front of the monster. You, eat her. Her flesh is tender, tastier than me. But the bone-faced beast ignored the girl. Its dark, cruel eyes locked onto the young master. 1 second later, a punch came down, his upper body crushed like minced meat. Blood splattered everywhere. No sound escaped. He was dead. The henchmen widened their eyes and screamed like rats. They killed someone. Run quickly. Call for backup. It was already too late to run. The bone-faced beast charged down like a shadow from above. Some were trampled into pools of blood, others torn apart, chunks of flesh falling like dry leaves. No one survived. A female student sat on the ground, her face pale white, trembling all over from fear. It was better to die by the monster's hand than to be humiliated. But before she could finish her thought, she suddenly noticed the monster had turned away. Without a word or sound, the bone-faced beast slowly ran straight into the city center. A moment later, in the principal's office of St. Du Academy, the atmosphere froze. Horrifying. A furious shout shattered the silence. The principal, a powerful middle-aged man, slammed his hand on the desk, cracking its surface. Why? Why did my son die right on school grounds? How are you supposed to maintain order? Below, 2 teachers, 1 male and 1 female, knelt with pale faces. The male teacher bowed his head, speaking urgently. Principal, we checked the cameras near the cliff area. There was no sign of any monster crawling up from underground. The female teacher added, moreover, it seems that the bone-faced beast didn't crawl up but infiltrated the school from outside the fortress. The principal's face turned cold, his eyes dark as cold stone. What do you mean by that? You're saying it ambushed my son on the cliff? Don't talk nonsense. The bone-faced beast only kills by instinct. Its intelligence is less than a sparrow's. He gritted his teeth, his voice low and harsh between clenched teeth. You all just shift the blame. But remember this. Whether human or monster, whoever killed my son will pay. He roared orders. Gather all forces to hunt down that bone-faced beast. It's still inside the fortress. Do not let it escape. Find it. Kill it. Meanwhile, at a city corner, the bone-faced beast that had just killed someone dashed like the wind toward the cliff. On the high cliff, a teenage boy was waiting. Around him, Two other bone-faced beasts knelt like subjects before a lord. The newly arrived beast immediately knelt down as well, not daring to raise its head. The teenager, Lam Yuan, cold-eyed, spoke in a low voice. Number 1, you carry too strong a scent of blood. You've been targeted. Return to the mutant space to rest. Number 2, you retreat as well. He waved his hand, and 2 black cards appeared in his palm, causing the 2 monsters to instantly turn into black smoke, sucked inside. He smirked, his icy gaze fixed in the distance, muttering, Wang Kai, you put me in prison. I'll send you to the afterlife. Let's call it even. You'd never expect in your wildest dreams that the monster tearing you apart is my pet, right? Lin Yuan's eyes flashed cold and deep like an abyss. In a world ruled by monsters, mutants risk their lives to resist. My trump card is the monster taming system. Others fear and avoid them, but I hunt, control, and turn them into weapons. Number 3, take me back to the prison. The last bone-faced beast immediately knelt and bowed. Then it carried Lin Yuan on its back, leaping between rooftops like lightning. Lin Yuan sat on the monster's back, his gaze profound. 3B-ranked bone-faced beasts were his current limit. They were strong enough to kill mid-level mutants and even suppress early awakeners, but in this apocalypse world, it was still not enough. At Prison Zone 3, Lin Yuan landed like a shadow, silently, without a sound. The skeletal beast was immediately drawn into the void, its eyes turning cold and composed. The most important task now was to leave this prison legally. He returned to the cell. A jet black card was thrown out, without light or effect, but it chilled the air by several degrees. Leave. A faint hiss sounded. From the black smoke rolled out a spider-like female demon, slender body, 8 legs like blades, eyes blazing red with hatred. Lin Yuan coldly ordered, it's time to perform. The next day, the sky was overcast. Cold winds howled through the gray stone fortress. Lin Ling, Lin Yuan's younger sister, quietly walked toward the principal's mansion with her classmate Ren Wu. Ren Wu held her hand tightly, voice full of worry. No, Lin Ling. You can't bury yourself like this. We can think of another way. There has to be another way. Lin Ling lowered her head, her eyes drained of hope. There was no other choice. My brother was taken to the Blackwater prison, a place of darkness and death. Wang Kai said if I agreed to the marriage contract, he would spare him. Is that really the only way? In this fortress, the Wang family was a monster in human form, with a father as principal, and a brother who was a level 9 psychic. Above everyone else, no one could escape his grasp except by marrying him. Lin Ling pressed her lips together as tears fell on her dress. This is my fate now. Suddenly, the front became chaotic, voices buzzing like crashing waves. Ren Wu was surprised. What's going on? Why are so many people gathered at the Wang family gate? They stepped closer, pushing through the crowd. Then a scene that shattered everything appeared. A coffin was placed in the center of the courtyard. A black and white photo of Wang Kai sat atop, a memorial tablet with incense burning solemnly. People bowed and wept. Ren Wu's face turned pale, stepping back. Wang Kai is dead? How can that be? He was the great devil ruling this city. How could he suddenly die like this? Lin Ling was stunned, eyes brimming with tears, silently staring at the coffin, choking up. He must have committed too many evil deeds. What goes around comes around. A tear fell, but this time it was relief, not despair. I have to tell my brother. A miracle has happened. He's been saved. At that moment, the principal, Kai's father, came out, his eyes deep and a fake smile on his face. Oh, are you grieving my son's death? Seems like he really chose the right person to marry. Lin Ling clenched her fists and stepped forward. Will you release my brother? The principal nodded, his eyes darkly flashing. Of course, with one word from me, your brother will be innocent immediately, but you must also fulfill your promise to my son and marry him. Ren Wu gasped and shouted, but Wang Kai is dead. That engagement is worthless now. The principal smiled coldly like winter ice. I know, but the boy died lonely. He needs company down there, so you will marry him posthumously. The air froze. Ren Wu stepped back, face pale, as if facing a nightmare. How can you marry the dead? You're crazy. Lin Ling trembled, asking, will you really release my brother? The principal laughed wickedly, voice steady but sharp as a blade. Of course, as long as you obediently wear the wedding dress and are buried with my son, so he has company in the afterlife, I will release your brother. He paused, then his voice dropped like a demon from hell. But if she refuses, the ones buried with my son will be her father and brother. What will you choose? Answer me. The space fell silent. Nam Vu shouted. Lam Lang said, don't. He's crazy. You can't agree. Lam Lang shed tears, lips trembling. I agree. A marriage alliance with his son. At the dark mansion of the Wang family, the night was as black as ink. A dim lamp flickered in the sealed room where no sunlight ever reached. Wang Diem, a level 9 psychic and the eldest son of the Wang family, stood with arms crossed before the strategy table, eyes cold as eternal ice. Father, anyone who dares touch my brother or even has ties to families he toyed with, I will kill them all without leaving a drop of blood. He paused briefly, eyes narrowing like a venomous snake, but Lam Lang remained. Lam Lang has agreed to the marriage alliance with the younger brother. Do we really let them go? The old headmaster slowly set down the cold stone teacup, voice hoarse like dying embers, saying to spare them, but suspects cannot be kept alive. Let the marriage ceremony be completed first, binding his fate to the Wang family. Then, the old man smiled faintly, as if satisfied with a cruel chess move. Bury her father, and let him befriend my son as well. Wang Diem nodded slightly, voice icy, cold. Understood. As for the brother in prison, I will make sure he dies unexpectedly tonight. That night, at Blackwater Prison, the darkest place, the entire cell lock system suddenly failed. A heavy sound echoed like a death knell, and countless metal doors swung open simultaneously, releasing numerous prisoners like wild beasts, flooding out in a bloodthirsty frenzy. In the darkness, a tall man with a shaved head appeared. He scanned the crowd, voice booming like a command. Everyone knows the target, right? Consider this a game inside the prison. Kill the kid named Lam Yuan. Whoever acts fastest gets a reward. The prisoners shouted in unison. Let's go crush that ant. Lam Yuan's cell was the only place still silent amid the chaos. He sat quietly on the bed, flipping through old pages, eyes calm as if the air around him was undisturbed. His cellmate gasped, rushing in. Brother, it's bad. I heard the villains in Black Prison got orders and are coming to kill you. The doors are all open, and you're not running. Lam Yuan looked up, eyes cold as a sweeping wind. Why run? The guy was agitated. Those people kill without blinking. You're young. It's not worth risking your life here. Run now. Lam Yuan smirked, eyes chilling to the bone. If they have the power to enter this room, I'm ready to give up this life. Outside, the prisoners had arrived. Steel pipes, daggers, clubs lurking in the shadows. The guards had all disappeared. No one could stop us from killing him. The heavy footsteps thundered like a storm, the cellmate's face pale, drenched in sweat. They're here. They're here. But suddenly, all fell silent, no sound, no footsteps, no breathing. Lam Yuan calmly closed his book, slowly stood, and stepped outside to look. The cellmate trembled, stepping out and immediately froze in place. The prisoners all stood motionless like wooden statues. On their bodies, fine cuts like silk threads, invisibly sharp, began to bleed. Thud, thud, thud. Parts of their bodies fell off without a single scream. The spider demoness Lam Yuan released earlier unleashed her ultimate skill, closing in for a kill, infinite iron cuts. Like a blade, Jiang Cheng unleashed countless layers of murderous intent, turning the prisoner zombies into piles of shredded flesh. The roommate collapsed, eyes wide with panic. Is this hell? Is this really the demon hell? Shao Ka, what exactly are you? Lin Yuan's gaze was as cold as 1,000-year-old snow. Just a survivor in the apocalypse. If no one harms me, I won't harm anyone. But if someone harms me, I will eliminate them completely. In the prison ward of Blackwater Prison, the dim yellow light flickered on the ceiling, illuminating 3 faces watching the chaos inside the cell. The air was thick with the smell of cigarettes, dampness, and conspiracy. A subordinate hurried in to report, Sir, that Lin Yuan guy is still unharmed. Warden Dian Shi took a long drag of his cigarette, exhaling smoke through clenched teeth, a contemptuous smile on his lips. That so-called big shot is just a weak loser. Soon, the prison's big eagles will tear him apart. Steward Wang, representing the Wang estate, standing nearby, chuckled. Good then, let the prison chaos continue a bit longer. Once things settle down, I'll take him for the marriage ceremony. Deputy Warden Bai Lin didn't smile, only furrowed her brow as she looked at the surveillance screen. Something is approaching out there. Steward Wang glanced toward the door, narrowing his eyes suspiciously. Could it be the red-eyed prisoner charging in? Dian Shi laughed loudly, slapping the table. This steel door can't even be broken by a tank. Rest assured, Steward Wang. Bang. A fist slammed into the metal door, shaking the entire room. Before the 3 could recover, the door was blasted open, swirling in the air like a thin sheet of paper. From the darkness outside, Lin Yuan stepped in, followed by a giant skeletal creature, a bone-faced beast. Steward Wang's eyes widened, lips trembling. Bone-faced beast. You control it? I have to report you. Before he could finish, the bone-faced beast swung its fist. Boom. His body exploded into a blood splatter. Bai Lin was stunned, only one question repeating in her mind. Is a B-rank bone-faced beast controlled by humans? Impossible. No records mention this. Dian Chi trembled, face pale. "This is Blackwater Prison. If you kill me, don't expect to leave alive. I have the strongest guard team. You're alone and will be torn apart." Lin Yuan smiled coldly. "You mean those guys?" The door behind him opened, and a fully armed squad with shining guns stormed in. But what silenced Dian Chi was that they all pointed their guns at him. "You guys, you're crazy. I trained every one of you." Lin Yuan lightly raised his hand, smirking. "But now, they're my spider puppets." Dian Chi knelt, trembling like paper, screaming and begging for mercy. "I was wrong. It was all Steward Wang's orders. I was just used. Please spare me." Lin Yuan smiled faintly, his eyes icy. "Let me think." "All right, hand over the Warden Authority chip." Dian Chi shakily took out the chip, raising both hands. "But you can't use this." Lin Yuan smiled softly, stepping forward to take the chip. "You don't need to worry about that. See you." He snapped his fingers. Bang. A burst of gunfire exploded. Before Dian Chi could finish his last scream, his body shattered like a destroyed beehive. Lin Yuan calmly turned and said, "I told you to hand over the chip, not that I'd spare you. As for the Warden's authority, I can handle it myself." Lin Yuan leisurely turned, his cold gaze sweeping over Bai Lin. "Welcome, new Warden." Bai Lam took the authority chip, still stunned. "Wasn't I supposed to be dead already?" Lam Yuan smirked, pulling a silver-white spider from his coat, gently spinning it between two fingers. According to Article 563 of Fortress Law No. 54, in emergencies, the Deputy Warden has the right to automatically 24 promote if the previous Warden is unable to manage. Of course, to become mine, you must first consume this mission egg. Bai Lam stared at the egg, feeling instinctively pushed back, but then she swallowed it. "I will eat it." Lam Yuan smiled, his voice mixing cruelty with tenderness. "Good. If you obey, I will allow you to keep your self-awareness." Without hesitation, Bai Lam knelt, bowing her head low. "I will obey absolutely. From now on, this prison is the Master's territory. The Master controls this place not just temporarily. Please give orders." "What is the first mission to complete?" Lam Yuan looked at her, eyes deep as an abyss. She was smart. "And if you want to prove your worth, I will give you a chance. 3 days ago, an S-rank metal beast infiltrated the fortress but hasn't been fully destroyed. The army is searching for a holding place. You will personally apply for Blackwater Prison to take it in." Bai Lam nodded immediately, without hesitation. "An S-rank beast. Normally, Blackwater lacks the capacity to manage it, but I understand what the Master wants. I will do everything to get it, even offering all resources in hand." Lam Yuan nodded. "Very well. Arrange for me to leave the prison immediately. When the S-rank metal beast arrives, notify me first." "Understood." Bai Lam stood up but hesitated before speaking. "Master, if you leave Blackwater and reveal your identity, the royal power, even the 9th-level psychic, surely won't let it go. If you hide in the prison, it might be a bit safer." Lam Yuan stopped, slowly turning his head, his gaze calm as if he had calculated everything long ago. "Hiding is useless anyway. I prefer to strike first and strike hard." The next day, Lam Yuan wore a black coat, pulled his hood over his head, and quietly headed to the Furious Psychic Training Center. The atmosphere immediately seemed to freeze a bit. This guy just got out of prison and dares to come straight to the guild. Doesn't he know today is his sister's engagement day? Why come here instead of going home? Planning to be a scared black turtle? Huh. Another guy sneered. Maybe he's here to beg the guild leader. But would the leader dare to offend the royal family for an ordinary member? Or maybe he's here to find Sister Ning, the only one who ever treated him well. But she left the city, heading straight to the northern abyss. Someone sighed. This kid is really pitiful. The royal family is powerful beyond measure. Who dares help him? Usually quiet and weak, now caught in this mess, who would want to get involved? All whispers and scrutinizing glances were completely ignored by Lam Yuan. He calmly walked inside. Inside the center, someone startled and stood up. "Senior, you're here." Vai Hang immediately adjusted his glasses, looking tense. All information and schedules of the engagement guests have been collected, but the 3 old electronic bug monsters used to monitor the network system are about to break down. Lam Yuan raised his hand without saying much. From between his fingers, he activated 3 cards, releasing hundreds of Lai Tai electronic bugs. Vai Hang's eyes widened. "Oh my god, that many?" Lam Yuan smirked. "There are plenty of these bugs in the Blackwater Beast's den. I just grabbed a few more." Vai Hang looked at the bug perched on his hand, her eyes flickering with a mix of fear and admiration. The 3 old bugs were enough to control the prison's surveillance system and the royal family's internal network. Now with this many, they could really control over half the fortress. Lam Yuan turned and waved his hand. "I've received the synchronized information. Continue monitoring the royal family and everyone involved in the engagement ceremony. Contact me immediately if anything happens. Vi Hang urged anxiously. Big brother, you must be extremely careful. The 4 teammates of the royal family's eldest son, Wang Yan, have all arrived. They are the strongest young 9th-level psychics. Moreover, since your bone-faced beast hasn't appeared yet, the engagement venue has set up a barrier to prevent monster intrusion. You need to. Lam Yuan raised his hand to stop her. Don't worry. I have my own plan. Vi Hang nodded, then her eyes suddenly grew serious. You are the only person I trust. We are the last 2 members of the Wang Kai alliance, and we must survive. He lowered his head, voice full of emotion. 3 months ago, I was discovered while spying on Wang Kai. If you hadn't risked your life to save me, I would have died. From that moment on, I decided to follow you to the end, even if it means facing the entire royal family. Lam Yuan's voice was calm but icy. I saved you before because we shared the same goal. I never expected a sicko, who secretly takes pictures, of beauties on campus every day to risk his life for the victim, willing to be pushed off a cliff just to seek justice for her. His gaze passed over Vi Hang's reddened eyes, then he slowly continued. Then I will repay that justice on her behalf. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a heavy off-road vehicle sped through the restricted zone, its wheels crushing the fiery red dust. The driver gripped the steering wheel tightly, glancing at the man sitting in the back seat through the rearview mirror. Councilman, do you really want to personally officiate the wedding? Can a living person marry a dead one? The old councilman smiled disdainfully, his eyes cold as ice. A lowly commoner married to a deceased noble is a blessing she could never dream of. Without that status, what reason would I have to witness this? Anyway, in a way, she has already earned it. Driver Tran Tru paused, then lowered his voice to ask, I heard the final step of the engagement is to kill the bride, is that true? The old councilman slowly pulled out a dagger about the length of a fist, the steel gleaming with a cruel smile. Yes, at the appointed time, I will personally cut her throat, so she can forever return to the underworld to serve the royal family's second son. Hearing this, the driver's face turned even paler, but the bone-faced beast that killed the royal family's second son has not been caught yet. If it comes, the old councilman waved his hand. Don't worry, this bulletproof black sedan can withstand heavy tank fire. Even if the bone-faced beast appears, it can't damage the vehicle. As soon as he finished speaking, bam! A shadow dropped from the sky, crushing the car's roof, the metal frame groaning like the roar of hell. The driver screamed in panic. The bone-faced beast, it's really here. The old councilman tried to stay calm. Don't panic. Even if it attacks to death, the defense system will only lose at most 50%. Throw it off. But before he could give the order, 2 more bone-faced beasts rushed in from both sides, gripping the car's body tightly. The councilman's face turned pale. Intelligence said there was only one. On a tall rock pillar, the figure of Lam Yuan appeared as if from nowhere. He raised his hand, signaling the attack. 3 skeletal beasts immediately swung their fists, striking the vehicle repeatedly. The clashing sounds echoed like thunder. Defense rates were 100%, 70%, 30%. In the blink of an eye, the defense dropped to 1%. Boom! The vehicle exploded into pieces, screaming in a sea of flames. The driver died instantly. The councilman was thrown out, his face bruised and battered, bones protruding. One skeletal beast grabbed the collar of the man, dragging him across the ground. His eyes were cloudy, still desperately begging. Save me. I will reward you handsomely. Soft footsteps sounded. Lam Yuan approached, bent down to pick up a fallen knife. The blade still gleamed, cold and sharp as ice. Nice cut, he said, voice icy, cold. This is to cut the bride's little throat, right? The councilman panicked, begging for mercy. I was wrong. As the word left his mouth, a swift slash of the blade ended it. He collapsed on the spot, eyes wide open, no time for regret. Lam Yuan wiped blood off the blade without blinking, then pulled out a death photo card, throwing it to the ground. Next came the person. From the card, a black 8-legged monster crawled out, bowing its head to wrap around the councilman's corpse. From the shadows, a dark silhouette was pulled out. It was the shadow of the dead councilman, stretched long on the ground by the shadow-seizing technique. Lam Yuan stood inside the barrier circle, silently raising his hand, his palm gently placed on the shadow. In an instant, his aura transformed, and his appearance blurred and shifted. The shadow disguise lasts 2 hours. 2 hours is enough. The wedding appointment, I'm here. The Huashui Noble Cemetery. The fairy place where the wedding ceremony is held was covered in a cold mist and the scent of incense that pierced the mind. Inside, nobles and soldiers gathered in groups, whispering. I heard the bride today is extremely beautiful, but no matter how beautiful, she's just a burial offering. Exactly, commoners will always be mere entertainment tools for the noble class. Another cold voice added, but the murderer who killed the prince's second son hasn't been caught yet. The person beside sneered, no worries. This time, the prince invited the strongest young 9th-level psychics, plus the heavenly net barrier set up by the barrier team. If the killer dares to come here, they won't leave alive. Boom! A loud explosion thundered. The ground shook, dust swirling wildly. Everyone turned to look up. In the sky, a formidable squad descended. It was the 9th Deep Abyss squad. What fell from the sky was a level 1000 deer horn monster, covered in blood. The leader wielded thunder, electricity, hair flying in the wind, eyes flashing like lightning with a cold smile. Wang Yan, this is a gift for the grand ceremony. Everyone was astonished. It's thunder electric. He's about to awaken, yet he still came. I heard he agreed to come because the prince handed over the commoner district where the bride's father lives to him, allowing him to slaughter freely. He's now a killing addict. Wang Yan, the prince's eldest son, stood at the center of the ceremony, smiling faintly. Good that you came. With you protecting the grand ceremony, I'm at ease. Thunder Electric glanced at the barrier master beside him, eyes sharp. If a monster appears inside the barrier, I will kill you. The barrier master's face turned pale but nodded firmly. Boss, rest assured, no monster below level S can enter this barrier. The observer's eyes glowed red, licking his lips. Assign the cemetery surveillance to me. As soon as any outsider approaches, I will detect it immediately. There it is. He immediately left his spot, rushing like an arrow. That crazy Do understood the spirit tracking skill and would soon find the monster controller. That mysterious enemy was doomed. Do, the psychic, clenched his fist, staring intently at an electronic bug stunned near a lamppost. Caught it. He smiled coldly. I'm about to catch the big fish. Do chanted a spell, his eyes flashing as he activated his psychic tracking skill. Within seconds, he traced the trail to Liu Hang, the person operating behind the scenes. The energy reaction was very weak. Ah, just an ant. Do rushed like the wind, leapt up, laughing loudly. Let me see what memories you hold, then drag your master into the light. But at that moment, a strange sensation surged. Do staggered, the light before his eyes shattered. What is this? Why is everything pitch black? He looked down at the electronic bug in his hand. Its body was swelling, spreading a dark spiritual aura. Poisoned? No. It was spiritual contamination. Impossible. Its master was clearly weak. How could it resist me? Before he finished the sentence, Do fell like a rotten leaf. His skull cracked open, blood and brain matter splattered, dead on the spot. Right behind Liu Hang, the ground trembled slightly. Waves of dark energy rising like a tide. A level D monster roared, its body covered in sores, slowly materializing through the mist. Liu Hang exhaled in relief, his eyes showing not a trace of panic. Instead, there was a hint of admiration. Indeed, the school leader had calculated flawlessly. The trap was set, the fake observer fell exactly as planned, and he was eliminated. Next, the school leader's disguise would no longer be suspected by anyone. At the same time, a sleek black car slid through the cemetery gates, tires screeching chillingly on the ground. The car door opened, Lin Yuan stepped out, his face dark like a stormy night, cold eyes staring straight ahead. Is this how your royal family welcomes guests? Your father doesn't come out to greet, but dares to send a kid still wet behind the ears to represent him. His icy voice hit Wang Yan like a slap, but he only bowed. His expression so respectful it bordered on servile. Please forgive Chairman of the National Assembly. My father is busy preparing the grand wedding ceremony and cannot attend. Please follow this way. Lin Yuan ignored him, flicked his sleeve, and walked away with a cold, arrogant expression like a king who needs no recognition. Take me to see the bride. The atmosphere in the cemetery suddenly grew tense. Nobles and psychics standing along the corridor whispered secretly. That's the assemblyman. Why does his face look so grim? Could the royal family have offended him somehow? In the foyer, Lei Dian frowned, his cold gaze sweeping the surveillance area where the observer had yet to return, and another person worriedly said, he hasn't sent any signal, he might be in trouble. Lei Dian clenched his fist, his voice low, go find him quickly. Don't miss anything. The other nodded immediately and turned to leave, but just as he stepped out of the hall, a sharp voice cut through the air. Hey, kid radiating cold air, come here. Lin Yuan now carried the face and aura of an assemblyman, standing still like a stone statue, his eyes seeming to pierce the soul. The opponent. The fake freezer was startled, pointing at my face, confusedly asking, did you call me? Lam Yuan's voice was like metal striking stone, full of words. Come here to me, I have something to discuss with you privately. Do you want to leave? Lam Yuan tilted his head slightly, his voice cold as winter ice, eyes sharply fixed on the awakened power user who was about to leave. If you leave, who will guarantee my safety? Don't even dream about it. You all are the strongest force here, and no one is allowed to leave this place without my permission. Han frowned, stepped forward one step. Sorry, but this is about the team's safety. I have to go verify. Yin also spoke up, equally firm. Councilman, although you hold a noble position, with all due respect, you have no right to interfere. In the internal affairs of Deep Abyss Team 9, Lam Yuan frowned, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. He smirked as if hearing a ridiculous joke. No right to interfere. If you were awakened ones, maybe I'd consider, but unfortunately, you are not. And since you are not, I have many ways to make sure you stay put. He raised one finger calmly, as if reading a verdict. 1. Freeze your Deep Abyss passes for 3 months. 2. Suspend all Fortress funding. Cut off support money for the awakened under your command. 3. Your families, including elderly parents and younger siblings, must move out of the government-protected area to live in civilian zones from now on. Han and Yin simultaneously turned pale, cold sweat breaking out on their temples. No one spoke, but the pressure Lam Yuan radiated now was like a mountain crushing down. Around, the awakened and nobles began whispering anxiously. What is going on? Councilman Huang is really using his power to suppress the 5 powerful warriors of the 9th rank. Don's words were true. He really is the type to mix public and private matters, daring to do anything. At this moment, Lei Dian appeared from behind the door. His silence made the atmosphere even tenser, but after a moment of consideration, he nodded. If the councilman has spoken to this extent, then we will stay and ensure your safety. Lei Dian's words ended, causing many to whisper quietly. He is about to become an awakened one. Councilman Huang's action is like offending a future king. How short-sighted, risking enmity with someone who will stand at the top of the awakened world for so-called current safety. Lam Yuan laughed coldly, a dry laugh echoing through the lobby. Who the hell cares about the future? Right now, my life is the most important thing. As for that nonsense about dignity and reputation, keep it to yourself for a peaceful grave. He jerked his chin toward Wang Yan, the brat from the Wang family. Take me to see the bridal chamber. Wang Kai was standing in front of the mirror, adjusting his collar, hair slicked back with gel, muttering, Your wedding witness is coming soon. You better behave and listen to me. Lam Ling wore a wedding dress, silently sitting on the sofa. Her eyes were cold as ice, filled with suffocating, suppressed anger. As long as you keep your word and release my brother, I will cooperate. But if you break your promise, even if I die and become a vengeful spirit, I will never forgive you. Wang Kai laughed, raising his eyebrows confidently. My word is my bond. After the wedding, your brother will be released immediately. In his heart, he whispered that by now the old steward must have already taken that kid out of prison. Just then, the door burst open. Lam Yuan stepped in, his stride like thunder, eyes scanning the entire room before stopping on the girl in the wedding dress. Little miss, you don't need to worry. Principal Wang will definitely keep his word, and if he dares to break it, he turned to look directly into Wang Kai's eyes, his voice icy, cold. I guarantee he will die without a place to be buried. Principal Wang, am I right? Principal Wang forced a crooked smile, his throat dry as if gripped by frost. Yes, just as you said. Lam Ling lifted her head, her eyes filled with a bit of obsession, a bit of pleading. You are a councilman. You came to witness the marriage, right? After I leave, can you oversee my brother's safe release from prison? Lam Yuan looked at her, his gaze neither cold nor warm. It was just a look. From someone too familiar with the corruption of power in this world. No need to ask. As the witness, I promise. If your brother is not released by the Wang family, I will personally send the entire Wang family to hell. He turned to Principal Wang, his eyes like daggers piercing the other's heart. Principal Wang, can I confirm this promise again? Wang Kai trembled slightly, his whole body frozen as if iced over, lips moving but only able to say, It's possible. It's possible. In his mind, an unavoidable thought escaped. This councilman acts too ruthlessly. Lam Ling pressed her lips tightly and whispered softly, No matter the cost, as long as my brother is safe, that's enough. Lam Yuan nodded, replying in a deep, harsh voice like a curse, Definitely. But inside him echoed another unspoken sentence. No, you won't have to pay any price, you'll be fine. Wang Kai hurriedly spoke, trying to regain control. Someone. Take the councilman to the VIP restroom to prepare. The maid bowed, inviting him to follow. That girl was Chi, who had been saved by the masked beast from the first chapter. She led Lam Yuan down the backstage stairs. When sure no one was around, Chi suddenly stopped, turned back, eyes full of worry and determination. Lam Yuan, you need to run. I know you want to save your sister, but you're only a level 6 psychic. If you keep disguising yourself and rushing in, the only ending is certain death. Lam Yuan frowned in surprise. Oh, you saw through my disguise, and you recognize my psychic level? Didn't expect you to be a rare psychic medium. And Chi nodded, her voice soft as the wind but firm. Yes, I'm only level 3, but enough to sense the danger around. And I have to warn you, this place is Dragon Pond, Tiger's Lair, not somewhere you can risk your life. She took a deep breath and spoke as if releasing a secret trapped inside. Besides the 5 ninth-level psychics everyone knows, the Wang family has summoned over 100 ninth-level psychics, all elite students from previous generations, hiding in this cemetery, just waiting for the right moment to act. Lam Yuan stroked his beard lightly, his voice still calm to the point of coldness. A grand formation indeed, but what intrigues me more is why classmate An Chi is here. An Chi said happily, "To repay a debt, the masked beast once killed Wang Kai to save me. Now the Wang family has set a deadly trap just to catch it. I can't stand by and watch my savior suffer." Lam Yuan tilted his head, voice like a smile without smiling. "So what do you plan to do?" And Kai responded decisively, "I can use my psychic powers to send a warning when it gets close so it will flee, while I sacrifice myself to clear the way for it." Lam Yuan rubbed his forehead, chuckling softly. To willingly sacrifice herself over a single bone-faced monster was truly admirable, and Kai gritted her teeth, her eyes blazing with fire. "It's not just a monster, it's Dawn, the one who pulled me from the abyss, my ultimate faith. A small, 6th-level psychic like you. Please do not insult my benefactor." Seeing that face, both furious and resolute, Lam Yuan was speechless. He knew some feelings couldn't be argued with logic, and Kai urged, "Go quickly, now is your only chance to escape. I'll figure out how to shield you. Don't sacrifice yourself in vain." Lam Yuan shook his head, voice like a whispering wind. "No, it seems there's no time left." At that moment, the main door burst open, and a voice echoed through the hall, excited yet chilling. "Let's warmly welcome the famous councilman. Enter the chapel, the ghost wedding officially begins." Hello everyone, welcome to the Fat Monkey Loves Stories channel. If you enjoy it, please give a like and subscribe. Hello everyone, welcome to the Fat Monkey Loves Stories channel. If you enjoy it, please give a like and subscribe. Lam Yuan and An Kai stepped out side by side as the wedding hall entered its most important phase, introducing the bride. But the moment the lights dimmed, a laugh rang out, breaking the solemn atmosphere. "Everyone, please calm down." Han smiled, his calm voice sending chills down spines. "Our Deep 9 team just found a rat sneaking into the grand ceremony. First, we need to do some cleaning." The crowd buzzed. "What? With such strict security? Someone still slipped in. Isn't there a disguised psychic involved?" Lam Yuan's eyes darkened, eyebrows furrowing, sensing something off. Han pointed directly at Kai. "After a thorough check, this woman is the imposter rat who sneaked in." And Kai didn't struggle, silently transmitting to Lam Yuan, "I won't survive anyway. I'll use psychic interference to make one last strike. I'll count to 3. Use that chance to run. 3, 2, 1. Spiritual energy condensed, fierce light burst from her hands, dazzling like fireworks in the dark. But Lam Yuan didn't flee. He blinked and appeared before Han, a cold blade piercing the chest of the one who insulted him. And Kai froze, eyes full of horror and confusion. Why didn't he run? Thunderface darkened, voice thick with killing intent. "You're not a councilman. The bandits use disguised psychic powers." Wang Yan stepped forward, eyes icy. "What's your purpose pretending to be a councilman and sneaking in?" Lam Yuan smirked, eyes cold as nightfall on the battlefield. "My purpose is simple. Leave no one alive." Thunderface sneered. "Level 6 psychic, and that woman's spiritual energy is drained. Do you think you can leave here? Surrender and confess all your crimes." Lam Yuan said nothing, silently drawing a stack of cards, each flashing cold steel light like blades. The game of hide-and-seek is just beginning. Dozens of cards shot like arrows toward the crowd. Thunderface hurriedly raised his psychic shield, but was shocked to see the control psychic's attacks scatter like a troop of clowns dancing, and crossed his arms and smirked. "Hama also died at the hands of this trash. How ridiculously funny." A silver flash streaked by. Anne's 5 fingers fell to the ground, fresh blood splattering everywhere. Wang Yan screamed in horror, "Watch out, the card can fly back from behind. Too bad it's already too late." A card spun back, slicing and in half. Fresh blood splattered all over the ceremonial carpet. Thunder and Wang Yan both turned pale. Had the speed already reached supersonic? And she was stunned, eyes wide open, unable to believe what she had just witnessed. Why? In just a blink, his psychic energy suddenly broke through to the peak of level 9. Lin Yuan quietly glanced at her, thinking to himself, although the barrier here forbids summoning monsters, their equipment cards still remain effective. As he finished his thought, an invisible aura enveloped his body. A psychic-type monster, a rare entity activated through an equipment card, brought with it a violent surge in psychic control power. From level 6, it instantly broke through to the peak of level 9. Above Lin Yuan's head, a cold silver energy vortex appeared, a silver abyss, boosting his psychic power by 100, making the surrounding space suffocatingly oppressive. At that moment, thunder shot up into the sky, electricity clinging to his entire body, each lightning bolt screaming like blades tearing through the air. A controller type like him is just scrap paper. Even if he cheated to reach level 9, he wouldn't withstand a single punch from me. His eyes blazed, his voice thunderous. I'll let you taste the wrath of the Thunder God before you die. And Chi transmitted her voice, her tone faint. Sorry, I no longer have enough energy to intervene. I can't help you escape anymore. Just then, a powerful gravitational force exploded from above. Thunder unleashed the thunder particle field technique. The entire space seemed overturned. All creatures in the hall, including Qi, were sucked into midair. Lin Yuan remained calm, only letting out a faint smile. So this is the legendary Thunder Pressure Fist. Thunder responded with a fierce laugh. Exactly, you insignificant ant, accept divine punishment. He dashed forward like lightning at supersonic speed, throwing a punch down. But suddenly, a massive shadow appeared before him, stopping the fist just inches away. Thunder halted, eyes filled with contempt. An illusion, a psychic spiritual echo. Before the super Thunder Pressure Fist, everything shatters. Yet his punch couldn't advance an inch. The lightning shattered. Thunder looked back in horror. The bone-faced beast, a terrifying legendary monster, stood towering, completely unharmed. His face turned pale. No, impossible. Why is there a high-level fake awakened monster here? Lin Yuan crossed his arms, his gaze cold as a scalpel cutting through the opponent's heart. Foolish, your barrier masters were killed by me, so the barrier naturally dissolved. Thunder's whole body began to tremble as the bone-faced beast grabbed him with two arms like pincers. What do you want? Let me go. Lin Yuan replied indifferently. I've already killed one. The bone-faced beast immediately squeezed tighter. A cold crack echoed. Thunder was crushed in its grip, blood pouring down like rain, staining the entire hall bright red. Blood splattered onto Wang Yan's face. He stood frozen as if waking from a nightmare, his fingers trembling as he pointed at Lin Yuan. You were the one who killed my younger brother. What exactly do you want? Lam Yuan did not answer immediately. He stepped forward and carried in Qi, who had fainted, in his arms. His voice echoed like a judgment bell. I have come to conduct the grand wedding ceremony. His eyes swept across the remnants of the hall, as if looking at each person one last time. And now, the grand ceremony officially begins. I will send all of you down below to reunite. From the upper floor of the hall, Wang Kai's father stepped out, his eyes burning like fire, enunciating each word. I've always been waiting for you, and you finally dragged yourself here. Lam Yuan stood in the blood-soaked hall, smiling slightly. So he wanted to avenge his son. Truly touching. The man's face twisted, teeth clenched so hard they ground the blood, veins bulging like spider webs. My son died unjustly by your hands. If I don't wash away this blood feud today, am I even worthy to be his father? You owe the Wang family justice, and I will be the one to claim it. Lam Yuan frowned, his gaze icy cold. Then what about the lives lost by your son's hand? How do you account for those? Forcing the living into a wedding pact, burying them together. Is that what you call justice? The principal laughed loudly, each syllable dripping with the stench of blood. In this fortress, the lives of commoners are no different than ants beneath our feet. Does anyone take responsibility if they accidentally step on an ant? The daughter of the Lam family being buried with my son is already a favor. Then he pointed directly at Lam Yuan, his voice hoarse. Once you step in here, don't expect to leave intact. Wang initiated the plan to eliminate him. Wang Yan immediately shouted loudly, his voice like a death warrant. Elimination team. The elite student council of Guanghui Academy surrounded and attacked, absolutely no chance for him to escape. Outside, a crowd surged in like a flood, screams ringing out the hunt had begun. Surrounded in the main hall, he had nowhere to run. Lam Yuan frowned slightly, smiled coldly, his voice deep like a death knell. Very well, I do not intend to let a single one survive and leave this place. The grand wedding ceremony truly means sending all of you down to the underworld. He waved his hand, and a dark circle of light opened in midair. The black and white impermanence beasts appeared, grade D, about to evolve. Wang Yan's face immediately changed. What is that? Lam Yuan flicked his hand as if releasing a chess piece. Black and white impermanence. Perform the impermanence soul summon. Two wide-brimmed hat beasts, styled like funeral procession spirits, blew enemy souls away. The sound whistled like cold wind through a graveyard, piercing directly into the souls of those charging in. The horn sounded outside, but the sound penetrated minds, causing many students to collapse on the spot. Blood poured simultaneously from eyes, nose, and mouth like a spring, dying before they could scream. Amid the chaos, a short-haired girl named Lam, the student council president, shouted, "These are soul-scattering beasts. They use sonic waves to lock souls and attack. If encountered in a deep pit, a single moment's carelessness can wipe out the entire team." She immediately issued orders, everyone gather around me within a 10-meter radius. Only the spiritual defense class can resist this. Wang Yan yelled, following the president's command, gathering around Lam, who was a half-step awakener and could lead them forward. Lam stood still at the center, activating a protective barrier around herself, a misty shield spreading like a dark glass dome enveloping her. Her cold voice echoed like a bell from hell. Anyone who dares come too close, I will kill without asking why. Around her, each council president began activating their own protective barriers. A tall man stepped forward, his voice hoarse like a blade. Within a 20-meter protection range, I don't live to protect the weak, I live to destroy the strong. Next to him, Mo Seok, a one-eyed man with a gaze sharp as a cold blade, spoke from 30 meters away. Mac coldly opened his mouth, meaning that the troublesome guy would definitely be dealt with thoroughly. Replacing the ivory, with a 500-meter protection range, the Mac family's order was decisive, his voice full of determination and ghostly aura. Although his sonic attacks were very strong, his physical defense was extremely weak. I have identified the weakness. Everyone follow me to eliminate them before they spread. True and Mo Seok responded simultaneously. Understood. The elite student council squad began advancing forward. However, one member suddenly stopped, confused, asking, "Why is it snowing in spring?" Another looked closely and muttered, "Not snow, it's paper money." The kind used in funerals really brings a chilling atmosphere, but no one had time to react. Each bill, upon touching their bodies, immediately activated poison. The bodies of infected students began exploding in chunks of flesh, blood, and organs flying everywhere, screams echoing throughout the hall. The poison was deadly, but it was already too late. More than 10 people died on the spot. The smell of burning flesh and blood filled the air. Student Council President Lam King Huang shouted, "It's the undead Mother Tang." All those bills were disguised spores of it. All eyes simultaneously looked up to the rooftop. Lam Yuan stood towering like a demonic shadow. Beside him, a giant purple eye was wide open, its tendrils wrapping around the building like living tentacles. At its feet was a bizarre vine, the undead Mother Tang, the embodiment of death. Lam Yuan's gaze was like thousand-year-old ice and snow. A funeral must have death. Since this is a grand ceremony, I will bury them all. Mac gritted his teeth and said, "That is the undead Mother Tang, an E-class monster. But if its spores get into a grave and use the corpse as nutrients, it will evolve very quickly. There are many nobles and powerful figures buried here. If it develops to the extreme, all of us will be wiped out." The man looked up with cold eyes. "But unfortunately, it met me, so none of that will happen. Don't panic. Those who aren't strong enough should find shelter and avoid the affected area. The 4 council presidents follow me to give full power before it evolves a second time and destroy the root." The other 3 shouted in unison. Reinforcements from various units rushed forward quickly, but before they could get close, a wave of gray-white bones blocked their path. Someone screamed, "No, those are secret spores of the Thai Tang. Don't inhale them." That thing was like a blizzard from hell, causing anyone who stepped in to fall into delirium and mental decay. Amid the poisonous air, Wang Mak stood still, his eyes calm as if everything was in his hands. He smiled slightly. "No problem. Listen to my order. Form the formation." Inside the main hall, Wang Yim stood behind an energy glass, clenching his fists tightly, his eyes anxious as he looked toward the distant front line. The enemy had used the spores of Thi Tang to block hundreds of allied soldiers. Can just 4 council presidents kill it? Next to the old principal, there was no sign of worry. His mouth curled coldly. "Don't worry, Wang Mak is there. He is the genius I picked from the slums, the Wang family's pawn whom I invested countless resources to mold, destined to be the divine guardian of the fortress in the future. In the abyss, he once faced awakened-level monsters and never lost a single battle. Why? Because he wins at any cost, even using the most disgusting methods." Right after the formation was completed, the other 3 guild leaders suddenly collapsed, their eyes dimming as if their souls were drained. Meanwhile, Wang Mo's level suddenly surged violently, temporarily entering the realm of false awakening. He turned around and coldly explained, "The reason I have a 100% win rate, besides my ability to analyze the entire battlefield in 10 minutes, is that I can sacrifice anyone, no matter who, just to win." Wang Yan widened his eyes in shock. Did he really absorb the power of those 3? The old principal nodded, his voice carrying a sick obsession. A genius from the slums, once he has a goal, he spares no cost. Back then, his foster brother who raised him was burned alive in a small wooden house by his own hand because he opposed him accepting me as a godfather. At this moment, Wang Mo had erected a barrier, his gaze icy cold. "The space has been sealed by my supernatural power. The bone-faced beast cannot break through, and your evolution, Thi Dang, will take another 3 minutes to complete." He spoke evenly as if pronouncing a permanent death sentence. At that moment, whoosh! A purple attack suddenly pierced the sky. breaking through the barrier, stabbing a large hole in Wang's chest, blood spurting out, his eyes full of panic. No, impossible. The barrier is broken, the space is shattered. Thi Dang still has 3 minutes left. A low laugh echoed from afar. Lin Yuan slowly stepped out, his gaze sharp as a knife, full of contempt, calling him a fool. That's because I equipped a 10% monster evolution speed-up card. Just a slight push turned 3 minutes into 18 seconds. Before he could react, Wang Mo fell from the air. The fall had no heroic momentum, just a lifeless body no longer fit for battle. He died like a loser who didn't even calculate his last move. The old principal screamed madly, his eyes bloodshot. Moni, my Moni. That bastard didn't even spare my godson. Even the child I considered my heir was killed by him. Lin Yuan sneered, his tone calm. Deep down, that foster child was more important to you than your own flesh and blood. Wasn't he? His gaze was sharp as a blade, piercing through the barrier, staring at Principal Wang, who had turned pale. A genius into whom he had poured countless resources, hoping to raise him to be the fortress president in the future. What now? Dead. And all because of your foolish impatience. You gambled your trump card just for revenge. What was the result? I destroyed the entire future of the Wang family in one night. Principal Wang stepped back, his face pale, finally gritting his teeth to speak. Who exactly are you? The Wang family. What did we do to offend you to deserve such ruthless tactics? At this moment, Lin Yuan's body subtly transformed, the faint light fading, revealing his original familiar figure. He smiled, eyes narrowing like a cat playing with a prey whose leg was broken. Oh, the skill duration just ended. Principal Wang's eyes widened, almost unable to believe his ears. Lin Yuan, you're Lin Yuan. Impossible. The prison confirmed you were dead. Lin Yuan smirked. The death notice the prison sent to him was written by me. I even signed it. Oh right, almost forgot. I still have a wedding gift to send to the Wang family. With that, he raised his hand, pointing to the skull tightly wrapped in roots by Thi Dang. That was the loyal butler of the prince. The chief prince immediately turned pale. Both the butler and even my sworn brother were killed by you. Behind him, Wang Yan screamed wildly, his whole body filled with supernatural power, charging like a wounded beast. Don't underestimate my prince. Even in death, he will drag you down with him. But in an instant, he was pushed back by an invisible spatial barrier. Lin Yuan stood still as if watching a comedy. The foster son he had trained with all his effort was now one of the 7 great guardians of the undead Matang. Spatial power truly is the king of all supernatural abilities, so useful that I almost regret not using it. Now, let it send your whole family to the afterlife. The chief prince suddenly trembled as if recalling something, shouting, Wait, your sister is still alive. But Lin Yuan just smirked, coldly waving his hand as if brushing dust off his clothes. Kill. Without any hesitation, Matang ordered. Although now a soulless corpse, she unleashed spatial destruction. A vortex tore apart all physical structures in an instant, light flashing. Then, the father and son princes turned to dust, no longer screaming, no longer resenting, just an empty and cruel ending. Everything returned to silence. Lin Yuan exhaled softly, turning around and murmuring, Foolish. The moment I killed that seal master, I used a shadow to replace your sister already. Let's go home. Before the last day, envoys from the fortress could trace this place. The next day, a procession of people in black cloaks holding candles stretched like a flow of ancient ritual from the square into the main streets. They did not shout but chanted evenly like reciting apocalyptic scriptures. Finally, the end of the world was approaching. Only by worshipping the monsters can one survive. Joining us is self-salvation, and also preserving the last spark for humanity. News of the cemetery incident quickly shocked the entire city. In many eyes, it was no longer just an accident or a simple battle, but a warning, a sign of the divine beast's arrival. The fortress cannot protect us. Monster worship is the only way out. Amid the noisy crowd like a demon ritual, Lin Yuan quietly stood watching, his gaze calm like a frozen lake. From the ranks, An Qi stepped forward, holding a wish paper, her face radiant as if seeing the savior. Among all monsters, I recommend bone-faced beast number 001. It is a miracle left by the gods. It once saved me. It is a messenger of grace, a light of salvation, perfection. I have worshipped it as my lord. Hearing this, Lin Yuan's mouth twitched as he muttered, That's too much, just a bone-faced beast. But An Qi turned back, her eyes shining without hesitation. Lin Yuan, you should join us. You were also saved in the cemetery incident. Without my master, a 6th-grade supernatural like you would have turned to dust by now. Logically, you should worship it with us. Lin Yuan frowned. Worship how? An Qi blushed, her voice firm but tinged with fanaticism. I must dedicate everything to the master. My soul, flesh, and all my will belong to him. Only by letting go of the ego can true devotion be shown. Lin Yuan's face stiffened after hearing this. He turned away, gently patting her shoulder as if advising a seriously ill person. Ahem, ahem, I have things to do. You should keep some things, at least your reason. And Kai called out with determination, I will definitely make the bone face famous, so he becomes the only true god in the world. Moments later, Lam Yuan stood on the top floor of a crooked skyscraper, eyes fixed on the sunset, silently covering the fortress. A breeze brushed his collar as he exhaled, feeling like the world was evolving in an increasingly strange direction. At that moment, a shadow knelt on one knee behind him. It was Wang Mo, no longer among the living. Master, I have returned from the forensics department. Lam Yuan did not turn his head, only asked softly. No one has discovered that the youngest deputy chief of forensics has become undead, right? Wang Mo replied in a tone devoid of emotion. I have been extremely careful. Absolutely no leaks. Following your orders, I erased all traces linking you to the graveyard battle. Also, I have completed the investigation on Hu Wanglong, heir to the entire Wang family fortune. He is the strongest fire-type ability user in the fortress, currently commanding countless disciples, and Wang Yan is his registered disciple. Lam Yuan smiled slightly, his voice low but full of sarcasm. He swallows the Wang family inheritance, yet pretends to be righteous to end old grudges. As expected, he finally came to me. Fine, if he wants to meet, I will meet him personally. Beside him, Wang Mo spoke gravely. Master, please be cautious. Huanglong is one of the strongest in this fortress. I advise you not to confront him head-on. Lam Yuan just smirked, eyes cold and sharp. Don't worry, I have my own plans. Then he turned and walked away, his back straight as if carved into the cold wind. The boy continued returning to his undercover forensics role. Remember well, you are just a bodyguard token. Don't overstep your limits. Wang Mo immediately knelt, voice full of respect. I am already dead. This life is granted by you, and you can revoke it any time. I will be your most loyal dog. Lam Yuan nodded, eyes emotionless. Go, wait for the next orders. A patrol order. Wang Mo instantly vanished, returning to the token space. Lam Yuan stood still for a moment, thinking silently. I know your ambition is to control this fortress, but you are one of the 7 subordinate tokens of Thi Dang. Your ambition will be carried out by me instead. He lifted his foot and left. Now it was Huanglong's turn at the Fire Dragon Ability Guild. Inside, Huanglong sat in the chairman's seat, his face full of dignity and arrogance, eyes fixed on the newcomer. You are the representative of Lam Ji. Lam Yuan nodded. Yes. Huanglong frowned. As you know, I am the master, inheriting the entire Wang family fortune. The Wang family's grudges, even as master, I must end them on their behalf. Then he threw 2 pure white outfits to the ground. Your sister was supposed to complete an arranged marriage with the Wang family's son, but the entire Wang family died in that incident, the culprit unknown, but your 3 family members must pay with their lives as compensation. Lam Yuan looked at the white clothes, eyes cold. These are mourning clothes. Correct. Huanglong gave them 3 days. After 3 days, the whole family must wear these paper clothes and burn charcoal to commit suicide together. This matter will be considered closed. Lam Yuan suddenly laughed, a smile freezing the space. What if I refuse? Huanglong sneered, voice full of contempt. No one in this fortress can refuse the awakened. If you dare resist, the price will be higher than death. Lam Yuan lightly shook the bracelet on his wrist, a faint light appearing. You are an awakened one, so let me make it clear. I am one too. I have registered for the Awakened 1 exam. My name is already on the Talent Bureau's candidate list. If you dare touch me before the exam, you are challenging the legislative authority. An Awakened 1 like you will be executed on the spot by Apocalypse, the fortress's envoy. The guild will be shaken. Is he a future Awakened 1? Isn't he just an ordinary student? Is our intelligence flawed? Huanglong glared at Lin Yuan, then suddenly smiled coldly. Using the Awakened 1 exam, the fortress's highest priority, to protect himself. You are clever. But once you step into my territory, do you think you can survive? Just kill you and pin the blame on some nobody. Lin Yuan still smiled, but now his smile was darker, more poisonous. Such a simple mind plotting to assassinate someone. Let me advise you, before you act, think about why I dare come here alone. Boom. Huanglong's body flew into the air. His right hand swung a sea of blazing red flames that erupted instantly, spreading as if to burn the whole sky. The true fury stands before you now. All struggles, schemes, and plots are meaningless. The raging flames around Huanglong cover him like a judging god. His disciples behind him screamed, eyes filled with terror. But Lin Yuan stood coldly on the ground, looking up at him, voice calm to the point of chilling. I told you, you can't kill me. As the words fell, the temperature suddenly dropped. The air shattered as if frozen. The ground beneath Huang Long cracked and iced over. What is this? The air grew colder by the breath, temperature falling with every inhale. Amid the chaotic chatter, two massive ice walls rose from nowhere, freezing all of Huang Long's disciples in an instant. Huang Long's gaze darkened. The ice effect pierced through. He frowned, realizing Lam Yuan had found a fake ice-type awakened one as solid support. A girl appeared in the cold bones, her long blue hair gently swaying in the wind, her eyes covered by white ice silk, her voice soft yet sharp. Junior brother, should I kill this old man? Her name is Ning Quan, a fake ice-type awakened one, the natural enemy of fire types. Huang Long grinned fiercely. Counter it. Don't forget, I am the strongest fire type. Even if I have to burn my soul and blood, I will reduce you to ashes. But before he finished, Lam Yuan spoke coldly and threateningly. Huang Long, I know sooner or later we will have a decisive battle, but not today. I will finish that fight myself. No need for senior sister to intervene. I told you, you can't kill me right now. Lam Yuan took a step forward, his voice slow like a blade cutting into Huang Long's pride. If you dare force an attack with my senior sister here, not only will you fail to kill me, but the Apocalypse Envoy will execute you on the spot for sabotaging the exam. Our battle will wait until after the fake Awaken 1 exam. Huang Long narrowed his eyes, darkening. So confident? You think you can pass the exam? Lam Yuan turned, his back firm like a sword still sheathed. Even if I fail, once the exam's protection ends, you can attack whenever you want. Senior sister, let's go. Ning Quan turned, her voice still calm but carrying clear killing intent. The extreme cold effect will wear off after 30 seconds. But if you dare lay a hand on my junior brother before the exam, even if I can't kill you, I will wipe out all your disciples. The two walked shoulder to shoulder out of the guild hall, the cold wind still lingering. After walking a while, Ning Quan spoke. Lam Yuan, I have to descend into the northern abyss once again. This time, it's because of your invitation to suppress it one last time on your behalf. She paused softly, then continued. But remember, in the end, you have to face everything yourself. The path of cultivation must never be interrupted. Lam Yuan nodded. I understand. Senior sister is protecting me this time because she sees me as a talent worth training, and out of camaraderie, she helps. But in the end, I know I can only rely on myself. He looked up, his voice lowered, wondering why senior sister, who just returned from the abyss, had to go again. Ning Quan stopped, her face tilted in the icy wind. This time, the northern abyss has changed. The outside world has become much more terrifying. According to the latest news from the base, Fortress number 26 has fallen. Our fortress is no longer safe either. She turned her head, her eyes still hidden behind a white bandage. Junior brother must quickly grow stronger, pass the test, or die. Lam Yuan clenched his fist. No problem. Ning Quan nodded softly and turned to leave. But just then, wait, Lam Yuan called out. Ning Quan paused and turned around. Lam Yuan slowly stepped behind Ning Quan, gently removing a green leaf stuck in her hair. All right, he said. His voice was soft like the wind brushing over a lake, carrying a subtle tenderness no one could easily detect. Ning Quan froze, her cheeks involuntarily flushing pink. She tilted her face away, her voice faltering slightly. Next time, don't come up so suddenly like that, or I'll instinctively draw my sword. Without letting him say more, she turned, her voice calm again. I'm leaving now. Take care. Her figure gradually disappeared into the thin bones of the lingering extreme cold effect. Lam Yuan stood watching, his eyes as deep as the abyss. She didn't say it aloud, he thought silently. But I know clearly this time she returned because of my distress signal. From the front lines of the abyss, she specially took leave, leaving the battlefield just to protect me. He clenched his fists tighter, his gaze suddenly icy. Rest assured, I will not only become stronger but strong enough to shield you, even against the whole world if necessary. Roar. A black car thundered up, stopping just a few steps away from him. The door opened, and a blue-haired girl stepped out, her expression cold. Her demeanor was neat. Master, as per your instructions, everything has been prepared. Lam Yuan nodded slightly, a flicker of admiration in his eyes. Indeed, I did not misjudge her. Such troublesome and sensitive matters were resolved within just a few days. The girl bowed her head, her voice without arrogance. Sharing the worries of her master was the duty of a subordinate. Although the process was a bit rough, after capturing the wife and children of the responsible official and imprisoning them in the black prison, he immediately signed the contract. A moment of silence. Lam Yuan's gaze was cold like a hidden blade beneath a cloak. Ruthless tactics, decisive actions, the position of chief warden at Black Prison could belong to no one better than her. The girl bowed slightly. The event was about to begin, and she asked the master to return to Black Prison to oversee the grand plan. Lam Yuan stepped forward and said, "Let's go." In Black Prison, deep underground, the secret auction hall, Dim red light shone on the cold stone vault, reflecting eager, greedy, and scheming faces. In the VIP seats, a young man whispered, "She's coming too." After getting the info from the dark web, I had to spend 300,000 just to buy the invitation card. The person next to him laughed coldly. I didn't pay, but my father had to go through hell using connections just to get a spot inside. No one knows where Black Prison got the inspiration this time, but they managed to squeeze a lot of valuable items from those death row inmates. Just the entrance fees alone were enough for them to rake in a big haul. A third party sneered. "The new warden is truly the business genius of the underworld. Whoever marries her won't have to worry about making a living for 10 years. Don't even dream about it. She looks fragile and delicate, but is actually like the Snow Queen. People like us shouldn't get our hopes up." In the VIP room, the lighting was softer, with a faint scent of mint in the air. The female warden was kneeling, holding a file, speaking respectfully. "Here is the list of auction items this time. Please take a look." Lam Yuan leaned back on the sofa, his indifferent eyes scanning the documents, lips curling slightly. "Besides the items we prepared, you also gathered reinforcements from several major crime organizations. Not bad." The female warden smiled. "The item you designated, I've already lured the other party to include it in the auction list." He stroked his chin thoughtfully. "Well done. The main goal this time is to raise money to recruit a level 5 metal magistrate for Black Prison, but if we can get the treasure I've always dreamed of, that would be perfect." The female warden nodded. "That item is expected to attract many competitors. I can't guarantee you'll win." "Absolutely not. My subordinates wiped out the Shadow Sect, the current owner of that item, and stole it." Lam Yuan raised an eyebrow, his voice cold and even as ice. "No need. Too much commotion will attract attention. Besides, I like fair competition. This time, let me play this auction like a normal person." On the auction stage, lights shone directly on the center. The host stepped out, his voice ringing like a bell. "Welcome, honored guests, to Black Prison's auction. This place is a lawless land, the ultimate feast of darkness. Whatever you want, Black Prison has it." Under the stands, a fat man secretly pointed. "Hey, look, the female warden's knees are bright red. She must have been kneeling for a long time." A man next to him frowned. "Are you crazy? She's so high and mighty. Who could make her kneel?" "Probably just accidentally bumped into something." A cold, brown-haired girl said. "Shh, don't make noise. The first item is about to be revealed." The female warden appeared at the edge of the stage, her voice cold and majestic. "The first hidden item has arrived. I will hand this over to the host." A person pushed a cart forward, covered with a thick red cloth, which was then pulled away. The audience murmured, "What's this? An old man? That's over the top. Is this how the show starts?" "Who auctions an old man?" The host, a young blonde man holding a microphone, boomed to the guests. "This is a death row inmate tortured by the electric chair early this morning. Dr. M, a devil who committed 18 serial murders but never failed in any surgery. In this chaotic era, a master surgeon is worth a fortune." The stands fell silent for a few seconds, then erupted in noise. "My father needs surgery. I bid 2 million. I need him for a spine operation. 3 million. The host laughed loudly, raising his hand. "Sorry. The starting price for Dr. M.C. is 50 million. The whole hall was stunned, eyes wide open. 50 million? That's insane. Is this the opening bid? A deep voice suddenly rang out, silencing the entire hall. My son was seriously injured in a deep ravine. Dr. Mack is exactly what I must have. Everyone turned to look. That was Derek Hoke, head of the Hoke family, one of the 10 great families of the city. 500 million, I bid. A girl with fiery red hair like hellfire sat in the VIP seats, her dress slit deep to reveal full breasts, coldly holding up sign number 26. Her voice echoed through the hall. Our prosperous medical group is in need of a top surgical doctor to personally handle special cases. I bid 55 million. The atmosphere immediately exploded like a powder keg. Some people gaped. She was Director Bing 2 of the prosperous medical group. She's making a move. Whoever buys Dr. Mack will hit the jackpot. 56 million. I bid 58 million. 60 million. Amid the bidding war, the voice of Derek Hoke, head of the Hoke family, rang out trembling but resolute. 80 million. Dr. Mack is something the Hoke family must win. Please, have mercy on a father's wish to save his son. I beg you to stop. Bing 2 stood up, her eyes cold and bright, determined. He wants to save one person, but I must save millions of lives. 85 million. The whole hall shook, veins bulging on Derek Hoke's forehead. He stood up, leaning on his cane, eyes blazing. 170 million. Whoever dares to steal my son's chance at life, that money will be used to arrange his funeral. The room fell silent for a few seconds, then erupted into chatter. The old man is crazy, but Hope Prison really hit the jackpot, nearly 200 million for a useless death row inmate. The host raised his hand, smiling like a knife slashing across someone's cheek. Congratulations to Old Master Hoke for successfully bidding on item number 001, Dr. M. A reminder once again, Dr. Mac's mental state is very unstable. Please handle with care. Next, item number 023004 was brought out one after another. The host's voice echoed like a war trumpet. Item number 002, the heart of an ice-type superhuman just executed, can perfectly adapt to any body. After transplantation, it will come with level 3 ice-type powers. Item number 003, female prisoner with hypnotic abilities. Usage period 3 years, exclusively for elites suffering from insomnia. Item number 004, a private hotel owned by an A-level death row inmate. Inside is a high-class club, defense systems meeting shelter standards, ideal for surviving the apocalypse. Each item starts at 1 million. Please enthusiastically participate. 002, I bid 3 million. The private hotel, I offer 10 million. I want the whole lot for 30 million. In the VIP room, Lin Yuan leaned back, his voice low and smooth. The deposit of 300 million to recruit the S-level metal spirit official is nearly complete. Her ability to select items and business acumen is truly a godsend to me. The female warden blushed, kneeled on one knee, bowed her head, and spoke softly. Thank you, master, for your favor. If you are satisfied with this gift, you can remove my chains anytime. Suddenly, behind her, a low growl sounded. The spider woman with a sinuous body and 8 soft limbs appeared, her eyes burning with jealousy. The female warden was startled but quickly turned and smiled. Little spider, don't be jealous. We both belong to the master, neither of us can monopolize him. Lin Yuan waved his hand, his voice firm and cold as ice. Enough, back to the main topic. The first item, just as we predicted, the Hawk family has made a move. As the leader of the Fire Dragon army, I'm afraid the budget the Hoke family allocates to this army will be severely cut soon. His gaze lowered, cold as an abyss. More importantly, forcibly taking the Devil MC Doctor for surgery not only added enemies to the Hoak family at the auction, but later it would also become the spark of instability, pushing the Hoak family into the spiral I have arranged. The day the Hoak family supported the Fire Dragon army was also the day their fate was sealed. Which number is the item that prevents abyss beasts from evolving? The host stepped onto the stage, his voice echoing throughout the hall. Next is one of the key auction items today, the Blood Arhat Buddha statue from the Indian Blood Arhat sect. This is the final masterpiece carved by the 3 great pink leather sculptors at the end of the crafting era. He paused, his voice deepening as if revealing an ancient secret. Not only does it have extremely high artistic value, this statue can provide cultivation energy within a 300-meter radius. Some sects have never even owned such a treasure. Starting price is 500 million. Special note, the statue can also stimulate the evolution process of certain monster types. In a corner, a silver-haired young man licked his lips and smiled softly. Good, a blood arhat used as a betrothal, offering to senior sister Ning Quan is truly fitting. On the screen appeared the identity, Zhao Yuan, 9th disciple of the Thunder sect, an A-grade awakener. The Ning family surely cannot refuse. A voice rang out. Zhao Yuan successfully won 3 items consecutively from number 002 to 004, truly a wealthy noble family not to be underestimated. Another girl whispered, I heard the Zhao and Ning families already have an engagement, but Ning Quan always refused. This time, if they offer the blood arhat, I fear the Ning family will force her to accept. While everyone was gossiping, Zhao Yuan smiled and muttered, Senior sister Ning is so naive, daring to oppose the Fire Dragon sect just for a worthless guy like Lin Yuan. Luckily, I have some connections with the Yellow Dragon. As long as I hand Lin Yuan over to the Fire Dragon to deal with, everything will settle. First get the blood arhat, then consider the marriage. On the upper floor, in the monitoring room, Lin Yuan crossed his arms, his gaze sharp as a spear looking down, coldly saying, Senior brother Zhao Yuan, I have been waiting for you a long time. Welcome to the game I prepared. 6 months ago, Abyss Square, West Side, wind howling through the rocks, the new disciples of the Thunder sect knelt motionless in the square. Why hasn't senior brother Cao Jiu arrived yet? Someone gritted their teeth, voice trembling. He must be torturing us. Another laughed bitterly. What else? A genius from a noble family like him is arrogant and cold, treating us like insects, taking pleasure in torture. Shh, he's here. Shut up or your tongue gets cut off. Zhao Yuan floated in the air, cloak billowing, smiling like a god. Sincerely apologizing, I overslept. It's all because the little sisters were too enthusiastic yesterday. Someone angrily said, enthusiastic, he's a killer. The person beside gently tugged their sleeve. He's the strongest madman in this sect. Who knows when heaven will take him away? Zhao Yuan rolled his eyes, voice icy as bone frost. Don't grow resentment from kneeling too long. For low-level, poor awakeners like you, an awakener like me is a god, and anyone who resents a god deserves punishment. His gaze swept the crowd, pausing briefly. Remember that well. Lin Yuan below heard this and looked at him with murderous intent. Finally, I give a special warning. During this abyss trial, senior sister Ning will also participate, but she belongs to me. You worthless fools, stay away from her the moment you see her. If anyone dares to dream. Before he finished, he threw his spear down at the kneeling crowd. A loud explosion rang out, fresh blood splattered everywhere. The ground scorched, leaving behind mutilated corpses silently smoking. The dust settled, deadly silence followed. Everyone trembled, no one dared to breathe heavily. Liu Yuan lowered his hand, smirking coldly as if flicking away a fly. No one in this world can take anything from me, let alone the scum unworthy to step onto the front lines like you. Back to the auction. In the tense atmosphere, Liu Yuan crossed his arms, leaned back in his chair, lips curled in an arrogant smile. What I want, no one can compete for. He leisurely raised his paddle, his voice echoing in the hall. Blood Arhat, 600 million. A clear female voice sounded from the other side, calm, but not weak. 650 million. We need it for a top-tier nursing home serving psychics. Tu Bang, CEO of the Life Nourishment Corporation, stared coldly at the podium. Immediately after, a well-dressed man spoke up. 700 million. I am Huetnat, representing the private museum Luong Kim. This piece is the final puzzle in my ancient blood collection. Liu Yuan chuckled softly, his voice low as if hearing a child's joke. 100 million. The atmosphere in the hall froze. What? The third item already passed 100 million. The Liu family truly has great power and boldness. That aura is suffocating. Tu Bang gritted her teeth, her eyes flashing determination. 110 million. This is the target approved by the leadership. I cannot lose it. Luong Kim immediately responded, 120 million. I want this collectible at any cost. Liu Yuan casually raised his hand again. 200 million. His voice was as cold as ice. Luong Kim, your private museum is nothing but a training ground for assassins disguised as culture. Don't make me angry. Tomorrow, I will uproot it completely. And you, Tu Bang, I've investigated. Your maximum budget is 190 million. Don't dream of competing with me. Both turned pale at once, sweat starting to bead on their foreheads. Liu Yuan flicked his chin, his tone full of arrogance. I already said, what I want, no one should even dream of touching. Murmurs erupted throughout the hall. Young Master Liu really respects no one. It seems this is the end of the matter. A young man whispered nervously. No one can stand against this madman. At that moment, the female warden stood up, her voice not loud but carrying sharp authority. Sorry, the auction is not over yet. Everyone's eyes turned to the screen behind. The VIP line in blazing red read 21 million. Liu Yuan paused for a moment. 220 million. The VIP screen jumped to 221 million. His voice deepened, full of dissatisfaction. Are you doing this on purpose? I just raised 10 million and you only increased by 1 million? What's that about? The organizer said. The female warden replied coldly. VIP bids follow the rules strictly. The minimum increment is 1 million, no violations. The auction continued. Liu Yuan gritted his teeth. 250 million. VIP 251 million. Liu Yuan 260 million. VIP 261 million. Liu Yuan 270 million. VIP 271 million. Liu Yuan 300 million. VIP 301 million. No one dared to speak. The entire hall was immersed in extreme tension. The numbers kept jumping like a game between two monsters. One used money. Mudong was coldly patient. Liu Yuan clenched his fist, eyes burning. I don't know who you are, but in Black Cannon Fortress, the Liu family has influence. This auction item concerns my marriage with Sister Ning. It's a prerequisite. Can you show me some respect? The VIP screen flickered softly. A line of text appeared. Who do you think you are that I should respect you? Disappear. Liu Yuan slowly stood up, the pressure of the pseudo-awakened spreading like a storm, instantly chilling the air in the auditorium. Very well, you also know the price of angering a pseudo-awakened. Immediately, the sound of clicks echoed everywhere. More than a dozen energy guns simultaneously aimed straight at Liu Yuan. The female warden was as cold as ice. This is the Black Prison. We have our own rules. Even pseudo-awakened, if you break the rules, you will be suppressed by black radiation. Young Master Liu, if you continue causing trouble, your auction qualifications will be revoked. Liu Yuan clenched his fists tightly. each word grinding through his teeth. 500 million. In the VIP room, Lin Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly, the yellow light reflecting his faint smile, cold, calm, almost as if he had anticipated everything. Very good. The Liu Yuan senior brother trap has officially been activated. Outside the stands, when the figure 500 million was called out, the crowd felt like they were doused with cold water. Even for the Liu family, that number was no small amount. Liang Jin, someone who claimed to understand the tycoon world, couldn't help but frown and mutter. 500 million is the ceiling that the reckless spender can use. But why is no one stopping him? Hearing no one raise the bid, Liu Yuan sneered excitedly, feeling as if victory was already in his hands. Want to compete with me? You don't even have the right to sit at the same table, let alone bid against me. But before he could finish, Lin Yuan calmly raised a paddle and uttered two words that made the entire auction floor explode. 800 million. A wave of surprise murmurs spread through the auditorium. Some nearly choked on their drinks, others gasped in shock. 800 million, really? Is this blood Arhat the ancestral dragon vein? Someone check if that VIP has lost their mind. Lin Yuan calmly projected a single sentence onto the screen that made the whole hall hold its breath. Noobs, please leave the table. Liu Yuan, publicly humiliated, flew into a rage, grinding his teeth and cursing. Who the hell do you think you are? Just as the tension peaked, a young man wearing glasses beside him spoke up, his voice dripping with commercial intent. Young Master Liu, if your finances are a bit tight, I can lend a hand. He was Wei Hang, a broker from one of the loan organizations. The name alone smelled of debt collection. IMW, the exclusive financial authorization unit for today's auction. We also hold the loan operations of the #1 dark organization. As long as you have suitable collateral, no matter how much you want to borrow, we will not refuse. Liu Yuan didn't even look at him, shouting loudly, "Scum like you dare to come here and throw dirt on me?" Wei Hang only smiled lightly as if counting money. "Sir, you misunderstood. I'm here to help and maybe earn a little commission. From what I know, you control 2 deep mineral mines in the abyss. Although powerful, your available capital for turnover is only about 600 million. I heard the Liu family urgently wants to ally with the Ning family, and Blood Arhat is the trump card. So if you mortgage the 2 mineral mines, we will grant you a loan of 1 billion. On the stage, the auctioneer Bai Lin spoke. 800 million. Second call. Does anyone want a bit higher? Under the stands, Wei Hang placed a contract in front of Liu Yuan and gently reminded, just sign. The money will automatically transfer to your account faster than an ambulance. Just then, the screen lit up again. Liam Yuan said little, only displaying the words, "The family dog is mourning. Scram. I will personally bring the Blood Arhat to the Ning family to propose." Zhang Yuan flew into a rage, his hands trembling as he clenched his pen, nearly stabbing through the paper. I want to kill you." Victor Hang remained calm like an insurance salesman, quietly reminding, "According to my intelligence, the VIP client's assets are limited to 1 billion. If young Master Zane raises it straight to 1,200 million, he won't have time to react." Zane gritted his teeth, hesitated for a few seconds, then bid 1,200 million. The whole hall exploded. He was crazy, truly crazy, or maybe the whole world was mad. However, Liam Yuan casually raised a sign for 1,600 million. At that moment, all eyes turned to Zhang Yuan. His face went pale as if drained of blood. Victor Hang silently placed another set of documents down. This is a new contract, requiring you to mortgage the remaining 6 mineral mines. We will continue to fund an additional 1 billion. Zhang Yuan shouted hoarsely. Didn't you say he couldn't afford more than 1,200 million? Victor Hang stood nearby, looking apologetic but barely hiding a mocking smile. Sorry, young Master Zane. We just overlooked a hidden capital the other party holds. But no worries, just mortgage the remaining assets and bid 2 billion. If you win, you're still the hero. If you lose, both the new and old contracts will be void. Zane gritted his teeth, signed the papers with a bang, then shouted like declaring war. 20 billion. At that moment, the VIP room lights on Liam Yuan's side suddenly went out. The hall buzzed like a broken dam, some choking on their words. What is this? Zane bleeding that much just to make a connection? Another sneered. No wonder they say love makes people lose their minds. Zhang Yuan stood like the king of the world, shouting excitedly, I told you, whatever I set my eyes on, no one is allowed to touch it. Forever like that. Blake Lam, who was running the auction, couldn't hide his joy. Congratulations, young Master Zane, on winning the Blood Arhat. Meanwhile, Victor Hang gently collected the stack of contracts, smiling inscrutably. Congratulations, sir. However, I'd like to gently remind you, please pay the interest on time and avoid any issues with the mortgaged assets. because if you accidentally breach the contract, it means provoking all the dark forces in this stronghold. And you know, behind them is a wall of power, sturdier than your pride. Zhang Yuan flicked his sleeve, raised his head, shouting as if he were a reincarnated emperor. Contracts. I'm a god. How could a god break a contract? Once I marry into the Ning family, with their full support, I will become the true god of this stronghold. A few minutes later, in the warm yellow-lit VIP room, Blake Lam suddenly knelt on one knee, whispering as if reporting the Blood Arhat trophy that young Master Zane bought. We had already extracted all the evolutionary materials to serve the evolved spider breeding that the owner requested, and the formation engraved on it was secretly altered by people from the Red Prison. When the Blood Arhat is brought to the Ning family, all cultivators inside will simultaneously suffer from demonic possession. The marriage alliance will collapse on its own, and Zhang Yuan will happily bring disaster home. Ha ha, Ning family, here I come. Victor Hang stepped in from behind, respectfully reporting. Under the boss's orders, we have allowed Zhang Yuan to sign all the contracts. The loans are taken. The remaining 6 mineral mines have all been mortgaged to major dark organizations. He paused briefly, then continued, his voice betraying a hint of satisfaction. Very soon, information will leak that those mines have been infected by monsters and are no longer exploitable. The funding organizations will simultaneously demand repayment, dragging the Zhao family into a deadly financial spiral. After hearing this, Bai Lin slightly bowed his head and whispered, Master has planned this far ahead. So, what is our next step? Lin Yuan still leaned against the glass window frame, his gaze calm like the wind brushing over water. The seed has been sown. Just patiently wait for the day the flower of revenge blooms. Our true enemy is Fire Dragon, while Zhao Yuan is just a bland appetizer. He gave a faint smile. The most important thing now is the 3-day fake awakening trial coming up. One day before the official start of the fake awakening trial, Lin Yuan finally shook off his dormant state, clumsily crawling out of bed, looking both drowsy and disheveled. Before he could rub his eyes fully, the bedroom door was kicked open. His father's familiar voice thundered like a summer storm. Son, still sleeping at this hour? Are you really your mother's child? Your sister is brilliant and outstanding, but you're as lazy as a cat. Lin Yuan rubbed his eyes sluggishly and lazily greeted good morning. Lin Lang, his super smart younger sister, chimed in with a news anchor tone. Dad burned breakfast again. I'm going downstairs to buy food, she bragged casually but intentionally as she left. Oh, I got my pharmacist certificate. I have to register at the Pharmacist Association today, so I'm heading out first. Bye-bye. Before Lin Yuan could say anything, his sister vanished like a gust of wind out the door. His father immediately took on a role, crying dramatically like a seasoned actor, shouting and mumbling. You're both born of the same mother, yet your sister is about to become a pharmacist, soon earning over 10,000 a month. And you're definitely a freeloader. But Dad has come to enlightenment now. One family, 2 fates. Consider it half success. Lin Yuan walked out helplessly, calling back as he went. Then, Dad, keep having your enlightenment. I'm going to buy breakfast. Mr. Lin hurriedly pulled out his wallet and took out 2 bills. Wait, here's 200 yuan. Take it and spend it. Even though you're useless, you risked yourself to bring your sister home from the monster's tomb. That's a bit of Dad's style, but remember, if you ever face danger, stay as far away as possible. Don't be foolish and try to be brave. Lin Yuan took the money and waved it off. Got it, got it. The shop downstairs is about to close. I'm going now. As soon as he stepped outside, he quickly ran off, leaving his father's loud shouting behind. Did you hear, Dad? Run if you're in danger. You're really clueless. Don't be a hero. These days, surviving is how you become a legend. Eating raw survival is the way. Lin Yuan sighed inwardly. Having an overly concerned old man is also a kind of headache. A few minutes later, he appeared in front of the breakfast shop at the alley entrance. The shop owner smiled warmly upon seeing the familiar figure. Oh, Xiao Yuan, buying breakfast again? Same as always, right? Lin Yuan responded with a familiar smile. Yes, as usual. The owner quickly prepared steamed buns, fried dough sticks, and soy milk, wrapping them up while advising. Here you go, kid. Eat quickly, or someone might snatch it on the way. These days are dangerous, especially for nice kids like you. The neighbor lady from the opposite shop also chimed in with a very affectionate tone. Oh my, I've watched him grow up since he was little. This guy, Xiao Yuan, is honestly the kindest kid on the block. Though a bit clumsy and not very talented, he's incredibly trustworthy. If I didn't have a 40-year-old daughter, I would have married her off to him long ago. Another uncle chimed in. That's right. Xiao Yuan, when you grow up a bit more, I'll entrust my daughter to you without a second thought. Lam Yuan smiled awkwardly. his face slightly flushed, mumbling that a 40-year-old daughter is definitely older by a couple of zodiac cycles. The neighbors saw his flustered look and took the chance to tease him more. These people love to pick on the honest boy. Look at him, bullied nearly into a wreck since childhood, yet still obedient and polite. Everyone here should take responsibility for not teaching him to be a bit smarter. Lam Yuan scratched his head, smiling sincerely. Aunts, uncles, sisters, I have to head back to school for a bit, but I'll come back later to help clean up the stalls. The restaurant owner watched him leave and sighed as if sending a good kid off to battle. The kid is so good, but sadly, in these times, being too kind just means being a stepping stone for others. Before he finished, the roar of engines outside shattered the air, a line of cars screeching wildly down the narrow street. Car doors flew open, and a bunch of black-clad thugs with tattoos stepped out like a bad gangster movie scene. The leader, a blonde-haired guy, shouted as he walked, "Attention, neighbors. Our big boss, TÜ, just returned from Black Prison, and today he's here to make a special appearance." The street instantly froze. People still washing vegetables or packing goods turned pale, their mouths frozen. "Oh God, TÜ's back. We're doomed. TÜ's back." The newly released gang leader shouted fiercely, having robbed everything from the fish market to the flower market. A walking nightmare, and anyone he asked about dared not refuse to pay protection fees. He stepped forward, speaking in a tone that sounded like a threat disguised as negotiation. "You merchants are doing okay, but with the chaos and poor security now, starting this month, the neighborhood's protection fee will triple." The breakfast shop owner bowed quickly, begging, "Brother TÜ, we're just small-time vendors. The economy's tough these days. The current protection fee is already unbearable. If it increases, even a woman selling vegetables can't afford it. Brother TÜ, tripling it means I'll have to close shop and go back to farming. Please spare us a way to survive." But TÜ had lost patience. He sneered, his eyes cold as ice. "In this broken world, I'm giving you a way to live. Who's giving me a way to live today? Either pay the full year's protection fee, or prepare to get a face washing with a sandal." He turned and signaled. His gang cracked their knuckles loudly, shouting, "Anyone who doesn't pay will have their shop smashed, be beaten into a pig's head, then burned down entirely." The people panicked, retreating indoors. Some cried desperately, others trembled, kneeling to beg for mercy. Just then, Lam Yuan rushed back, panting, saying, "Forgot to pay for breakfast," ran back in a hurry. The boss saw him and his face turned pale. "Xiao Yuan, this isn't your business. Go quickly. This kid is honest and has nothing to do with this. Please don't trouble him." A red-haired girl also shouted, "Hurry up and leave." The blonde leader's eyes lit up when he saw Lam Yuan, smirking at the prospect of another fat lamb. "Kid, pay the protection fee now." But before he finished, the leader slapped Lam Yuan's chin, slamming his head to the ground. "Tired of living, huh?" The whole gang immediately dropped to their knees like banana trees in a storm, their heads trembling on the ground like shaking dogs. Lam Yuan stood frozen, his mind spinning like a top, not understanding what was happening. Even the big boss, sweating profusely, trembled as he begged, "Sorry, sir. I just got out of Black Prison. Didn't know this was your territory. I must have been blind to offend you." The whole street fell silent, neighbors stunned and mouths agape. What? Little Yuan, that honest kid, is the boss of the gangster boss? Is this really his turf? Lam Yuan's eyes widened, mouth opening then closing like a stranded fish, with only one thought spinning inside. "It's over. My reputation is ruined. How am I supposed to face the neighbors now?" Seeing Lam Yuan silent, the big boss dropped to his knees, bowing deeply. "If the boss doesn't forgive me, I'll cut off one arm to prove my loyalty." Hearing that, the whole street seemed frozen in shock. The neighbors hiding behind their stalls broke out in cold sweat, thinking, "What on earth is going on?" Lam Yuan twitched the corner of his mouth, pointed at himself, and said with a drained expression, "Ah, no need to cut off any arms. Actually, you got the wrong guy. Look again carefully. Could you have mistaken the name of the underworld prince? He's my classmate. We just look a bit alike." The big boss stared for a moment, then forced a laugh as if just waking from a drunken stupor. Right. It's just a misunderstanding. How could a normal student like you be a big shot?" "Ha ha, that's hilarious." Lam Yuan waved his hand calmly. "Since Hugh Lam sorted it out, that's good. I still have to go to school. You all should go home and stop scaring the neighbors." The big boss scratched his head and nodded obediently. Okay, let's decide on that." After a while, the street residents gathered, buzzing like a disturbed beehive. "What's really going on?" Little Yuan was mistaken for his classmate. An uncle spoke with a knowing tone. "I told you from the start. Little Yuan is honest and kind. How could he be the boss of gangsters?" The red-haired girl still looked doubtful. "But why do I still feel something's off?" "Never mind. Little Yuan is such an honest kid. He definitely has nothing to do with the underworld. It must be a misunderstanding. Meanwhile, in a quiet alley, Lam Yuan was silently hiding, ears perked up listening. But behind the thugs, they still stood at attention. Lam Yuan turned and whispered sharply, "Ah, Tİ, who told you to call me boss?" The whole gang immediately dropped like dominoes. "Not boss, senior prison warden called you boss. I dare not. I deserve death. Please punish me." Lam Yuan sighed, rubbing his hand tiredly, voice low. "I released you from Black Prison for a big mission, not to collect protection money from every street. Remember, protect my family and neighbors quietly, that's your new duty." The big boss bowed his head, sweating heavily. "Yes, senior prison warden, we swear to protect the people of Vin Fuan Street with our lives." After settling things, Lam Yuan headed to school. On the way, as he hurried through an intersection, a familiar voice called out, "Hey little Yuan, haven't seen you in a while." Uncle Zhang, the veteran janitor at the academy, waved his broom. "I was looking for you. The academy is short on janitors temporarily. I managed to get this position for you to help earn some extra money for your family." Lam Yuan hurried over, calling back, "Thanks, Uncle Zhang. I'll come back after school." "Okay. Is there still something important?" Uncle Zhang frowned, trying to call again. "Xiao Yuan, this opportunity is very valuable. The benefits are great. It's for students in difficult circumstances like you." "Hey, where did he go?" At the same time, Lin Yuan stepped into a nearby luxury car. Inside the car, Vi Hang was already waiting. "Say what you need quickly. I don't have time. I still have to go back to school to ask for leave." "Boss, the finances of the Fire Dragon Taoist sect are currently in trouble, so they just sold some non-core assets. Now, the Jia de Academy belongs to you." Lin Yuan leaned back in his seat, expression unchanged. "Yeah, what else?" Vi Hang forced a smile and continued. "Also, your father's appointment as the academy principal has been finalized. The reason is he raised a top scholar, your daughter, so the council trusted him for a 10-year term." Lin Yuan nearly spat blood. Wasn't it said he'd have a leisurely position at school? Not letting him work fish cutting at the supermarket was enough? Why make him principal? Vi Hang scratched his head, looking troubled. "You left too quickly." "I didn't get to explain." Subordinate thought. Lin Yuan opened the car door, stepped out, sighed. "Forget it. Let him play for a few days, then find an excuse to demote him. I'm going to ask for leave now." Later, at the teacher's office, a stern female voice rang out. "Come in." Lin Yuan opened the door and entered, scratching his head with a smile. "Teacher, it's me." The teacher's eyes widened as she shouted, "Lin Yuan, where have you been hiding these past few days? I looked everywhere for you, but couldn't find you. You're honest and obedient. If something happened, you should tell me. Did someone bully you? Tell me quickly." Time passed like a dog running across a field. Lin Yuan was sleeping when suddenly an urgent call came. "Lin Yuan, get up quickly. Little senior sister is angry. Hurry and gather, or you'll get whipped." Lin Yuan yawned and replied, still sleepy. "Last night I helped Sister Liu at the shop until late. I'm just catching up on sleep now. Sorry to trouble you. Let's go." As they walked, the mushroom-headed guy chattered, explaining that little senior sister actually awakened 6 months ago, but she deliberately suppressed her realm to join the junior brothers in the martial hall for this trial training. Also, because she wanted to save another awakening stone for her fury. Although she's hot-tempered, everyone respects her a lot. When they reached the entrance of the 9th deep abyss, they heard a sharp yell. "You guys are really hopeless. As juniors, you should gather before your seniors, but you don't even understand that." The voice belonged to Muvin Am, the famous hot-tempered little senior sister, also the leader guiding this trial group. The trial in the deep abyss is extremely dangerous. If everyone is careless and reckless like you, dying without a grave is inevitable. Muvin Am glanced around, then her eyes stopped on Lin Yuan, frowning slightly, especially since among you are a few weaklings, with no real strength. If you get to participate just by half measures, you should cherish your life more. Lin Yuan, is that right? Lin Yuan was startled, his smile twisting a bit. Muvin Am stomped once, jumped down from a height, stepped forward, and pointed at his face, scolding. "Senior sister Ning is obsessed with martial arts and clueless about life, so she was fooled by your pale face. I despise backdoor types like you the most. The deep abyss isn't a place to survive by seducing women. If you have no strength, retreat quickly. I don't have the energy to protect you." Lam Yuan kept a gentle smile and politely replied, "Junior sister, rest assured, I will take good care of myself." Mo Ying-yin threw him a communication device, then turned away with a cold snort. "Take care of yourself. If you keep acting like this, sooner or later I'll get dragged into trouble and die because of you. Take this. If you fall into a desperate situation in the abyss, activate it, and I'll come." I really don't understand why Senior Sister Ning chose someone as weak as you. I don't care if you live or die, but if you die, Senior Sister Ning will be heartbroken for a long time. Lam Yuan took the walkie-talkie, nodded blankly. Thank you, Senior Sister. Without looking back, Mo Yingyin shouted loudly, let's go. Move out. The group reached the entrance but was stopped by a team for inspection. The guard's voice rang out, routine check, please cooperate. Among the students, lewd whispers spread. That's Minister Wang Mo of the Criminal Department. Before awakening, he was already appointed deputy minister. I heard he even broke records. He just awakened not long ago, but now he's one of the top 3 prodigies of the younger generation. One by one, people stepped forward to show their documents, their eyes shining with admiration. Because before them stood Wang Mo, the top mind of the criminal department, a supreme genius in both strength and intellect. Mo Ying-yin crossed her arms, voice full of disdain. Junior brother Lam, people your age are already shining suns lighting up the sky, but you're just a silent speck of dust beneath others' feet. It's really hard to understand. With his status, why is he personally in charge of security for this exam? Just as she finished speaking, a man in uniform stepped forward, voice solemn, Miss, please present your abyss pass. Mo Ying-yin froze, face panicked. I forgot. I took a slightly longer bath yesterday. I have an electronic registration card. Can I use that? Behind the students, a commotion broke out. No way. Junior Sister forgot her abyss pass. Missing either document means immediate disqualification. If she gets kicked out, we're all doomed. It's true, women obsessed with beauty can cause trouble. Lei Ding is really doomed this time. Mo Yingyin bowed her head, begging, please let me in. Otherwise, I don't know how to face my master. Surely she will be severely punished. However, Wang Mo still coldly refused. Sorry, you must leave this area immediately. At that moment, Lam Yuan stepped forward quietly. Chief, could you be a bit flexible? Mo Yingyin turned and scolded, don't cause trouble. Saying a few words to ask for flexibility won't solve it, unless you're a god. Unexpectedly, Wang Mo replied slowly, then no problem, you may enter the abyss. This scene stunned everyone, mouths agape like steamed fish. Is it over? Lam Yuan scratched his head and smiled kindly. Looks like our luck isn't too bad today. Wang Mo reminded, Lord Mong, be careful. The abyss is very dangerous. Everyone, take care. The students became even more excited. Hey, did you notice? It seemed like Wang Mo just saluted us. No way. He's the most arrogant genius in the criminal department. If he treated us politely, has the world turned upside down today? Only Mo Yin's mind was spinning, mumbling nonstop as she walked. Distracted, she tripped over a power cord and fell straight into Lam Yuan's arms. Lam Yuan quickly caught her, gently reminding, little senior sister, be careful. Mo Vin blushed fiercely and immediately shouted, let go, don't pretend to be a good person. I won't be like Ming's senior sister, easily fooled by you. You were lucky just now, but don't expect any thanks from me. After saying that, she stomped away, leaving a cold aura behind. In the elevator descending into the abyss, some students whispered, not knowing how deep the 9th abyss really was. The elevator had been running for over 3 hours and still hadn't arrived. All information about the abysses was strictly confidential. Only after reaching the bottom would they see what it looked like. The elevator continued to descend without stopping. Finally, after a long time like a lifetime, an announcement sounded. Arrived at the destination. The doors opened and the group of students rushed out, screaming for their lives. Finally here. 3 hours felt like 3 lifetimes. Someone check if Lam Jr. brother is still alive. Mo Vinhem crossed her arms and snorted coldly, ignoring him. If he's still asleep, just let the elevator take him back to the surface. No need to worry. Oh my god, it's so cold here, it feels like stepping into the afterlife. At that moment, Lam Yuan slowly opened his eyes, stretched, and yawned. Already here? Just in time to catch up on some sleep. He lazily followed behind the group. Mo Vinhem turned back and glared with a warning. If you're awake, stay close. Remember, in this abyss, don't stray more than 300 meters from me, just one slip up and you'll never return. At that moment, an announcement echoed through the dark, cold space. Welcome to the 9th abyss. The official awakening candidates examination begins now. First phase, survival challenge. Prepare yourselves. Countdown starts 198. Contestants, the first round of the survival game officially begins. The timer runs continuously for 48 hours. Those who survive past this time will advance to the next round. Mushroom Head asked, so, can we just stand in this square and level up? Another student, who seemed well-studied, explained, no way. After 10 minutes, the protective barrier around the square will be completely removed. Security staff have all withdrawn, and monsters will flood in like a tide. Anyone who stays here will just be a sacrifice. Immediately after, the system issued a clearer and more detailed announcement. The ninth abyss is divided into 7 zones: gray, green, blue, yellow, red, purple, and black. In the starting zone, each hour you stay earns 1 point. The deeper you go, the higher the reward points. Gray zone 10 points, green zone 50 points, blue zone 100 points, yellow zone 500 points, red zone 1,000 points, purple zone 5,000 points, black zone 10,000 points. The first round of the game is to establish the survival points ranking. The top 100 will receive rich rewards. The top 10 will receive an additional 20 A-grade power enhancement vials, 1 stability stone, 1 box of C-grade power blindness, and 1 semi-awakening stone. Hearing this, Mushroomhead's eyes lit up like he found treasure. Oh my god, the rewards are amazing. The stability stone combined with the semi-awakening stone can increase the chance of reaching the 9th stage by at least 90%. Purple-haired nodded in agreement. Not to mention, the A-grade power enhancement drugs each have unique genetic codes and are restricted materials. Using them without registration will get you hunted by the Drug Administration immediately. They're basically impossible to buy on the market. Lam Yuan listened and silently calculated in his head. Just 5 vials of power enhancement drugs could take him from the 6th stage straight to the 9th stage, and the 9th stage is the necessary condition to awaken. Then the goal is very clear. Just aim for the top 10 on the leaderboard. The guy named Mushroom turned to ask Mo Vin. Mo Vin replied without hesitation. Little senior sister, so which area is our team planning to camp in? He gestured. The target is the yellow zone. We'll take advantage of the barrier before it breaks and start before the beast tide arrives. The students behind shouted loudly. What? The yellow zone? Besides the little senior sister, none of us can last an hour there. That area is where just the breath of monsters causes muscle atrophy. But Mo Vin just smirked. Let's go. I'll protect everyone. Everyone stick close to me, especially Lam Yuan. You remember to stay right behind me. Got it? Lam Yuan gave a thumbs up with a faint smile. Understood, little senior sister. Up ahead, there's a group gathering. One person loudly offered a guide to the blue zone for a fee of 1 million, promising to avoid 70% of monster encounters or getting lost in the deep layers. Hearing this, many contestants hesitated but then raised their hands together. I'll go. Save me a spot. Count me in. The purple-haired guy stepped closer to Mo Vin and proposed. Little senior sister, how about our team joins that group? The blue zone borders the yellow zone, which could save a lot of effort and is safer in the early stage. Mo Vin pondered for a moment, then nodded in agreement. All right, we'll follow the team to the blue zone first, then quietly split off toward the yellow zone to reduce early conflicts. An hour later, the group was still following the bald guide. He walked with a bright smile. Once we cross the black sand area ahead, we'll reach the blue zone. How about it? Following me guarantees absolute safety, right? The students behind started whispering skeptically. No monsters so far, just like a walk in the park. One annoyed person whispered, this part is too easy, nothing like a deep abyss. Did we just waste 1 million? The bald man turned back arrogantly. That's because I helped you avoid all the dangerous monsters. Don't say 1 million is not worth it, it's a great deal. You see that, freeloading youngster? His gaze suddenly snapped to Lam Yuan, making him hesitate slightly. The bald man continued mockingly, look at you two, inseparable, like shadows. The moment this guy steps away, she gets mad immediately. Honestly, you're like her no-phone rule. Mo Vin blushed angrily and retorted, we're not that kind of relationship. My junior brother is weak, so I'm just protecting him. The bald man laughed heartily, waving his hand. Protecting your back. Huh. I get it. When I was your age, I didn't even want to get out of bed. This skinny guy is actually pretty capable. His hint made the surrounding students laugh and chat excitedly. Mo Vin is a born proud beauty, and that pale-faced guy really clings to a big thigh. Sometimes a weak man is an advantage, making the beauty feel pity. A blonde girl looked at Lam Yuan and said, but no matter what, someone like Mo Vin will sooner or later get bored of the old and want something new. The bald man turned seriously and warned, little brother, let me protect you, I'll care for you forever. All right, enough. Everyone, get serious. In about 20 minutes, we'll reach the blue zone. Speaking with hidden meaning, making the students around gradually laugh and chat excitedly. Mo Vin Am is a proud daughter of heaven, after all. That pale guy really managed to cling to a big thigh. Truly the male lead, sometimes a weak man is an advantage, making the beauty feel pity. A blonde girl looked at Lam Yuan and spoke up, but no matter what, someone like Mo Vin Am would definitely, sooner or later get bored of the old and like the new. Little brother, how about I protect you? I'll care for you forever. The bald guy at this moment turned back and seriously reminded, enough. Everyone, settle down. In about 20 minutes, we'll reach the blue zone. All right. At that time, I can't guarantee everyone's safety like I do now. From now on, you must be extremely vigilant. But just as the guy finished speaking, a cold blade flashed through the air, instantly decapitating the bald man. The head spun several times in the air before dropping right in the middle of the group, terrifying everyone, their faces drained of all color. A giant monster slowly stepped out of the shadows, its form vague. But a dense aura of death radiated from it. The students immediately turned and scattered in panic, shouting loudly, "It's the headhunter, run." Someone shouted in despair, "That thing, swords and blades can't hurt it. Once it targets you, death is almost certain." Amid the chaos, a blonde girl in the group suddenly froze as if frozen solid. A student shouted, "Her mind is being controlled. Someone quickly pull her out of there." The person next to him said, "But the distance is too far. It's too late." The headhunter's long tail, like an iron whip, lashed strongly toward the girl, its cold metallic gleam flashing. Tears welled in her eyes, her whole body trembling, but she couldn't move even an inch. Just then, a playing card emitted a sharp cold light, flying forward and slicing off the monster's tail in one strike. Everyone shouted in unison, "Someone saved her. Who is it?" All eyes immediately turned forward. There stood Liam, quietly retracting his hand, his shirt still dusted. It was that pale-faced guy. No way. How could it be? The students gaped. They had just mocked him as a freeloading weakling. Yet now, a simple strike severed the famous monster's tail. Known for its damage resistance, something even a group of experts might not manage. Movinum also couldn't help but tremble, his eyes full of surprise as he looked at Liam. "You, Liam, who exactly are you?"